That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, the new media radio hour. Coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, Ray Ibarra.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. I'm your host, Ray Ibarra, the New Media Radio Hour television show here at the Pax Stereo TV studios. My conversations with Shark Tank winners multimedia book coming up. My special guest today, you saw her on Shark Tank. She is the creator of the Green Garmento, Jennie Nigrosh. How you doing, man?
Yeah.
And the man with a plan back here behind Pax Stereo TV, Mario Hemsley. What's going on, man?
Good to be here, my brother.
And one other introduction, we can't forget our brilliant studio engineer back there, Victor Allen. What's going on, man?
I rent to own.
Okay, let's talk about your episode. I was just going through it again this morning. Very entertaining, to say the least. The Green Garmento. Tell me a little bit about that, then we'll go into what happened on Shark Tank.
Sure. The Green Garmento is an all-in-one reusable dry cleaning bag created to eliminate the estimated 300 million pounds of single-use plastic that enter just U.S. landfills and waterways every year, threatening marine and wildlife. So it's a very cool all-in-one bag, just like a reusable grocery bag, but for your clothes, so that when you go to the cleaner, you don't have to bring all that gnarly stuff back home.
Now, why didn't anybody think about this before? A reusable 3-in-1 bag here that would help the environment. I mean, how come there wasn't anything before this?
To be honest, there had been.
Okay.
There in the 70s, there was a think tank of dry cleaning professionals that actually created something called the Safety Clean bag. And I've since met some of the founders of that, and they're like giving me major fist pumps because they couldn't get it off the ground. And it was just too before their time, and there's been a few after. And I think what we wanted to do was create something that was really end user friendly, which was for the dry cleaner. So a fabric that would be washable and breathable, something that would protect clothing better, something great for the customer that had the handle and the side zipper and easy assembly at the dry cleaner. So we really worked with humans and dry cleaners together to really create the perfect bag.
For a great cost, too. You're talking about 300 million pounds of plastic in landfills.
Yep.
That's an awful lot of plastic bags dirtying up the environment, not to mention the oceans and all the marine life and animal life that can be harmed by this.
Yeah, the perils of plastic are, it's limitless, really.
So, Mr. Wonderful said, cool idea, how do I make money? What happened on the show?
Well, I had a pretty strong pitch, and in fact, a lot of my pitch was edited, unfortunately. There were some features of the bag that weren't actually shown, so I think that the Sharks, all in all, pretty much dug what I had going on there. I think they saw the environmental win, and I think they saw the economical win, especially for dry cleaners who are saving money on not using packaging when they replace with our bags. So, I think what happened was, and a lot is omitted in editing. It is a reality show, and I've said before, if it were called The Puppy Pen, I think it would have been a bit of a different outcome, but it was, it's the Shark Tank, and I got some teeth sunk into me pretty deep.
Mario's laughing back there.
Well, I actually thought you handled it so well. One of the things when you do what we do, we kind of imagine ourselves in your spot. So believe me, I'm feeling you while you're going through this.
Yeah, thank you.
And I was going like, I don't have an answer for that. But it still was the idea of someone with a great idea, especially in a socially conscious way.
Yeah.
Where that's the first thing that everybody's impacted by. And I was too. Here's something that we need to do. Single-use plastic. I'm trying to get rid of the water bottles. I said, this is a wonderful idea. So at least I had to commend you for the heart factor.
Thank you. Maybe not the brain factor. I lost it a little bit there, but
monetizing is always a different issue.
And you know what's funny is, and I was proud of our numbers. I mean, we did reach the $1 million mark that month, and we, for a baby company in a brand new category, which we created basically to really have that many units sold. I mean, we're looking at we've taken almost 2 million pounds of plastic. We've estimated so far out of landfills and waterways just in the United States, really from the bags that we have out there. I'm incredibly proud of those numbers. So maybe I didn't have, we had given them all of our information about our prior investors, which, by the way, we had zero debt. So they kept talking about my debt and this, and I'm not going to lie, I was just deer in the headlights. I completely lost my words, my numbers. I'm looking for shiny buttons. I'm like, somebody please help me. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, ooh, where's Santa? Yeah. I need someone to help me out here. But we had explained all that, and we did have zero debt. So as far as how they could have made money, it would have been a pretty simple equation. They could have invested. I could have used their strategic alliance, which I really did want. I mean, I love the fact that Damon has retail. I love the fact that Barbara has real estate and female-driven products. I mean, there's a lot of sharks out there that those guys, I think that and even Mark, I mean, we sell our bags. I mean, we do the dry cleaner for the Dodgers, and they get special blue bags for there's teams and all kinds of opportunity that we could have taken advantage of, but I didn't really get there.
But you're doing two things here. Well, one thing I want you to go into more detail, Jenny, is the debt factor. Please explain that, because on the show it was like you were $900,000 in debt. Please clear that up a little more. And then the second is you're not doing too bad, because I have seen you on the Today Show, QVC, KTLA Local News, The View, Wendy Williams. I mean, for someone who went on the show and supposedly got just reamed by the sharks, you're doing really well.
Thank you. My Nana always said, make lemonade out of lemons, and that's what we did. And honestly, to have an opportunity to get in front of 6 million people for free, just for a little bit of my humility, which costs very little, it was worth every minute of it. So, what we have is what's called a skin note, which we had investors that came to us, and they are mostly eco-conscious investors, which I tried to explain to the sharks, because they didn't believe that somebody would come in without an equity stake, or just really not just the goodness of their heart, because everybody wants to make money and see a company succeed, but these people really do care what happens to the environment, and those are our investors, and they did invest about $900,000, and we do give them a percentage of revenue, but it is not debt, and it's not equity. It's just they invest in us, and we have a certain amount of years to pay them back, and we can pay them early if we want to, but coupled with freezing a little bit, and also some tricky editing to make me also look likable, which I get because I was a little combative at times trying to explain myself. I think a lot of that was lost. So we have a strong base, and again, we're so proud of what we've done, and just working with all kinds of dry cleaners and people in communities and stuff like that, trying to make a difference.
Yeah, Robert said there's an elephant in the room and we have to find it. Why did he say that? What was going on?
I hope he wasn't talking about my bum. No, I had some tight pants on. I hope he wasn't going for my Jewish hips. But I actually, I didn't find there was an elephant in the room. It was a very organic conversation, and that's what was kind of blowing me away. And I've talked to other entrepreneurs that have been on the show, and they said the same thing. They felt sort of attacked that they didn't get to the numbers right away, but it was incredibly organic. It's tell us about your product, tell us about your mission, tell us what you're doing. And I answered as many questions as I possibly could until it came to where are you in your business, and that was very natural progression as far as I was concerned. So I didn't think there was an elephant in the room other than somebody looking for some good TV.
Yeah, it was really cool because your presentation was really tight. I was really amazed.
Thank you.
At your product display presentation. Even Barbara said your product is very well designed,
Thank you.
I saw that. I mean, this is really catchy. Let's talk about the design and the colors that you picked for your green Garmento, because that is what I really love.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, right now we have 6 colors, and we just introduced a 7th. So we're going for, we actually, we sell primarily, other than to consumers, but we sell to dry cleaners. And we want to make sure that we have their branding covered too, because we do their logos on bags. We want to make sure that it's just like a grocery store, that when you see their logo, and their colors. So we have quite a few colors. the multifunction of the bag. And I can show you if you want, or
Sure, yeah. Let's get one of the bags over here. We can.
Sure. I'll just let me grab one.
While you grab the bag, and while you're doing that, Mario, let's. There's a photo of Jennie on here that I want to show from Shark Tank, where she's looking at the sharks and displaying her. There we go. And the one underneath that. Now, there's a picture that can tell 1,000 words. There it is, right there. This must have been one of the moments when Robert either said something or you were being attacked by the entrepreneur, the sharks on the show there.
Right.
But I remember that. I mean, who can forget that? Because it seemed like any minute now you were just going to probably walk off the set and just say, "Let me out of here." That just seemed like a very surreal moment.
Yes, it was a delicious time in my life. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, at one point, I think my body language was a little bit guarded because I was trying to explain and not given an opportunity to explain that we don't have debt. To be honest, they just didn't believe me when I was saying, we don't have debt. We actually have investors that are helping us grow. And yes, I was uncomfortable, and I was called out on that, discomfort, and it became a thing. But, it's par for the course. I've got 16 cameras in my face, and I'm worried about this gorgeous makeup job that they just did for me falling off with like tears dry. There's all kinds of things that are going through your brain. So,
yeah.
and just I wanted the company to be represented well, and I wanted the bags to be represented well.
Well, let's talk about the bag right
Sure.
now. Let's just talk about the design.
Sure.
And because I really like this. These colors, especially the blues and the greens here.
Thank you. Yes, I've got my special Shark Tank one that I forgot to give to all the I had one for each shark. Each shark got a different color with their logo on it, and I forgot to give it to them because I lost it.
Oh, that's okay. We'll take them here.
So this is the green Garmento. It looks like a pretty unassuming garment bag, right?
Mm-hmm.
But actually, it has 4 functions or multi-functions. So when you turn the bag upside down, you finally have a place just for your dry cleaning, because our dry cleaning, we usually throw it in a corner or in a folded shirt. It never really goes to the right place. So you can hang it from and over the door hook, so it's a regular hamper, like a space-saving hamper, or it fits into a hamper frame. You throw your dry cleaning in, you cinch the bag, and you can take it just like a yoga bag. We've got a great strap, so it's like a duffel bag. You take it to the dry cleaner, and you leave the bag with, just like you leave your clothing. They check it in, and then everything is returned without plastic. So, it's an all-in-one. So it's a great solution for home. It gets rid of, we say clean closets, clean planet. You get rid of all that stuff. It's a very simple change without having to really think about it.
Now, this is a really simple and cool and very functional design. Now, how long did it take to develop this kind of a product for you, or the different functionalities within one, the 3-in-1?
Well, like I said, we've seen certain
it before,
things,
right?
but I went and I visited a bunch of dry cleaners. We had these really kind of primitive prototypes, and I went around and we did meet with certain people, and that's how we figured out we need different lengths. We had a 40-inch, a 48, a 54, and even a 72, and some dry cleaners have double conveyors, and they have vans with racks, so we had to really work to find out what sizing would work best. And then, it took a while to figure out, we want a side zipper, because I want to be able to see all my stuff before I leave the store. I don't want just one zipper in the front like a regular garment bag, because then you can only see the front piece. And also for the dry cleaner, they're like, if we have a side zipper, it's much easier for my assembly team to load the items into the clothing.
And it's big enough where you can hide in there, too.
You really can. Yeah. You can. I've had animals hide in this. But, and then we wanted a good size pocket so that your ID is in there and they can scan it when it's on the assembly line, so it's really easy for them to find your stuff. And our newest one, which is on the Shark Tank bag, is a little hanger pouch at the bottom so that you can recycle your wire hangers, which is another nemesis for our environment. Mm-hmm. Those wire hangers, if they get bent, they can't be reused at all on their conveyors, and they never make it into recycle machines because they jam the machine. So they really do end up in landfills, and it's a problem.
The situation, how did you get him from Jersey Shore? Because I saw him in one day, I think I saw him on The View.
Yeah.
I saw him on Wendy Williams. Yeah. I saw him somewhere else. How did you
Tonight
get him?
Show,
how did you get him to do that?
Well, we were watching Jersey Shore back when it first came out. We were so excited about it, and we would talk about it all the time in the office because it was just fun. And we're thinking his tagline is Gym Tan Laundry, right? Yeah. GTL.
GTL, yeah.
He does a lot of laundry, and I know he does dry cleaning. And we saw the show one time, and they were lugging giant loads of laundry in these plastic bags that were ripping, and then they couldn't find their stuff and they weren't labeled correctly. And I thought, I got to get this man some bags. I got to see if he wants to work with us. And Rick, my husband, who was a personal manager in LA for a very, very long time, I said, do your thing, call his people, whoever they are, just do your thing. And in 10 minutes, we had the name of who to talk to, and I called, and Mike Sorrentino happened to be doing rehearsals at Dancing with the Stars. So he invited me down to the studio. I showed him the product. I showed him some quick pictures of what his logo might look like on the bag. And we did a deal. I think he really dug the environmental aspect of it and the ease of use. I think he really loved the fact that it's a giant duffel bag also.
Now, you just need to get a color to match Mario there. That's going to be
I know. I am spying that kind of cool, like modern orange you got going down there. I like it.
You won't miss me in the crowd.
I will not miss you in a crowd.
What has the Shark Tank effect meant for you and your business since you've gone on the show? What has it done for your business and your exposure?
Well, first of all, I am incredibly, incredibly grateful to the producers and the Shark Tank itself for the whole conglomerate, because it's an opportunity that only Americans, I think, are allowed. This is one hell of an opportunity. So just to get in front of 6 million people was gorgeous for us, to introduce this kind of new category. Secondly, I'm not going to lie. We went to the International Houseware Show where we had a booth in Chicago where you meet with buyers and stuff. And I had many buyers come to the booth, some that had seen us on Shark Tank specifically, and I'm big stores that were really excited to learn about our story and our product. They did not care, and nor did they remember if we made a deal or not. They were like, this rocks. What is this? Tell us your story. And I was just blown away because I'm like, oh, so you didn't care that I crumbled? They're like, you got a cool product. Can you get us product when we need it? I'm like, that we can do. So the Shark Tank effect that way has been just awesome. And I think we're going to be closing some deals rather soon. And, these things take time, and I'm just excited.
Every entrepreneur, congratulations on that.
Gracias.
Every entrepreneur that we've had in here participating in my book, Conversations with Shark Tank Winners, in one way or another says the same thing, that the Shark Tank effect has opened doors. Sabin Lomax said that from Cousins Maine Lobster. Unending opportunity.
Yeah.
They were in here. Jim Salikas and Sabin.
Yep.
Unending opportunity is what it is. Okay. What was your audition process like? We want to know what you went through to get on the show. What was that like for you personally on a day-to-day basis, going through from beginning to the middle to finally getting on the show, walking through those doors?
Right.
Going on for your segment.
I lost a lot of sleep from beginning to end. I mean, I literally was freaking out. And thankfully lost weight too, which was really fun. But it has its good points. But I aged. I mean, I'm only 20, and you would never. Funny. Wow. Who's laughing? Who's laughing? I will hit you. Wow. When we learned that they were very interested in us, and we had been talking to the casting, and we submitted our information. They said, this is great. And we were going to get in for the end of last season, and then at the very end we got cut, and they said just come back for next year, and it was a whole thing. And I remember at one point we hadn't heard from them for a while, so I emailed the casting director a headshot of Angelina Jolie, and I said, just in case you're wondering what I look like on camera. And so we kind of we were joking with them a little bit. Again, who's laughing?
That's Mario.
I'm 20 and I look like
I'm
her.
Use
whatever.
That. Use
that. Good luck to you with that.
Thank you, Jennie.
We did what we could to sort of make them like us and really get to know us. And so finally, and we did our home video, which was adorable, and we got in, and then just waiting for when you're going to shoot. And then the first shoot date, we were there all day, and then it got canceled, and then getting the next shoot date, and then it was daunting. And you're practicing pitches, and they're changing I've got my producing team changed once, and my pitches changed a bunch of times, and my pre-pitch changed, and there's, I'm like, it's a bag, dudes. Like, really, I can do this. Just let me talk about my product. But they want to make sure they're rooting for you. They want to make sure that you are in doing the best you can.
So this explains a lot then why you went up there and when you started your presentation, you knew it backward and forward, but then when they started getting into more detail, I can understand how you were just overwhelmed and overloaded from all the prep and all the changes that they were making.
Yeah.
This is something that we don't know, and why I'm producing this book project, is to get the inside story as to what you go through to get on that show and what really happens, and then afterward what happens too.
Well, I think that, first of all, everyone makes mistakes. Sure. And I think my biggest mistake was I really do wish that Rick was on the show with me, because he's the one that put our financing together. And I think that, he had explained it all. We had explained it all on paper before we got there, soup to nuts, what this was. And we just assumed, and should never assume apparently, that they would know and that they would do their due diligence after. Like, let me explain this part to you later. This is, it's all good. And I really do wish that I had him with me, because that is not my strong, you say you've seen us on The View, the Today Show, and all that stuff. That's my strong suit, is getting us out there and getting our name and our brand and our message really out there. He's the brilliance behind getting us funded and getting our international distributors and stuff. So I do wish I had more of a team in front of the camera, I think. Even though I am the face of the company and it's a female-owned company, he still has been genius, and I regret not having him with me. So that was a big part of it.
Anything you want to add to that? Any questions? Or, yeah.
Well, I thought, even though you had a lot of concern about it, actually, I thought that you handled it pretty well. The whole issue was how you handled the stress. The other thing that's amazing with you, Jenny, is you came out of it with a smile. So the experience for you ended up being positive.
Right.
You went through all that mess, but you don't seem the least bit worn for the,
No.
Not at all.
No.
And I think that's what's so
Look
cool
where
about
I am.
it.
I'm hanging with you guys.
Yeah,
like, it's awesome. I'm going to be in a book. Who can say that?
One thing, though, if there's something that I could say about this whole thing, is know thy numbers.
Know thy numbers.
Oh,
I'm going to get
Lord.
T-shirts made. I think I'm going to own that.
Yeah,
I think that's my
you need
thing.
to patent that.
Yeah,
because
know thy numbers.
What is it about the numbers that you have to know so well, then, from your experience on the show?
Well, in my case, it was the investment opportunity, what's already gone down with your company, how did you build the business, and how did you finance it till now? And those were numbers that I was completely trying to work with, but I was fumbling. So had I had maybe what we call a log line, had I had something that would have been just a quick, here's what it is, I'll tell you more about it later or something, but they were killing me. And they were sharks. I mean, they wanted to kill me. They wanted to get the jugular. They were out for blood, and in a kind way, they got mine. I mean, I didn't feel so beat up. I just felt, although I did say to Rick when we came off camera and they were still showing me, they said, what happened here? And I said, it was a bloodbath. I everything I thought was going to happen did not. And, although that they liked the product, but it became more about the business, which
that was Mr. Wonderful calling right now.
He was, I know. He wants some of this.
He wants some of yours.
Yeah.
One of the things they just couldn't grasp the idea that you had raised this money based on people who believed in your concept, which is also kind of amazing, because crowdsourcing, right? Today is the way people are raising money, and that's specifically driven by issues that people connect to.
That's right.
They're so this is the movement. So I was kind of surprised that they were so amazed that you had found, isn't Bill Gates right now doing a wonderful job in Africa and India also, where he's attempting to wipe out diseases? So people are doing these kinds of things. I just thought it was amazing that they didn't connect to that at all.
And they actually, and Mr. Wonderful, you're right. And he actually said, wind and solar and the alternative power doesn't make any money. If you could have seen my real face, I was like, are you kidding me? I mean, look at how our economy could seriously grow from jobs for wind and solar. And President Obama is obviously working on that. We see that. But, that is a big part of our sector. And for him to just blow that off, I'm like, dude, that's not cool. But I couldn't really say that.
So a lot of us had your back, Jenny, on that. Yeah. A lot of us had your back on the concept that yours was driven out of a purpose, sense of purpose first.
Right.
So we really
Thank you.
So, what other projects do you have going on now since you've been? How long ago did you film your segment, and what do you got going new right now that you're developing, or what's happening with that?
Well, I'm working on a book with you. No.
Okay.
Well, we have new products that are building onto our line. So we shot this past summer, and it aired just last month in February. So, and I'm hoping that they do want to do a follow-up with me, because we have had a good shark effect, and no hard feelings here, man. Like, say what you want. I'll do it. But yeah, we are working on our hamper frame, which is really cool. It's like under a pound, and it folds up to be about this big, so it fits on a store shelf, because most hamper frames are super bulky.
They're big, yeah.
So you can actually buy a bag and a frame together as a bundle.
Wow.
So we're super excited. It's made out of recycled content, and it's very, very light, and the actual weight of the bag and what's in the bag holds up the frame. So it's really cool. That should be out hopefully by back to school. And we have a new giant bag for fluff and fold. It's called the Garmento, which is just a nice big bag that doubles in size. So it's another space-saving thing for your closet, but then the gusset comes out and it grows as you go, and it's easier on your back, because another problem people have is when they carry stuff, it hurts their back. So I've got some tote straps, yet it stays square like a basket, so that it's light on your back. And it's also made out of the recyclable content and recycled handles and stuff like that. So we're really going for the organizational solutions for home, which have low environmental impact, low packaging, reusable packaging, that kind of stuff, to really continue our brand and our message, but also just makes life easier for people.
Well, what advice would you give aspiring entrepreneurs now who have a really great idea? I know I asked this over again, but this is part of the theme of this book.
Sure.
Everybody has a great idea, the next big thing. Okay. So what do you do then? How do you approach creating something and going on Shark Tank? How do you do that?
Well, there's a lot of things to that. First of all, bounce your idea off some other people. I remember a long time ago I wrote a business plan because I was going to open a gym, and that one of the first things I learned was don't do this alone. Bounce it off as many people as you can. And I think that that's really important, is to make sure it is a viable product, make sure it's not already out there, make sure it is patentable if that's important to you. And get some mentors, as we call them, Garmentors, that can really help you in your process. And then do your market research, and don't do it alone. If you have a partner that you can do with, I think that that's critical. And don't spend all your own money. We did, but that was why I'm saying this. Try to keep a little for yourself.
You spent a lot on it, too,
We
right?
did. We spent a fortune. Yeah. And, and there were some things in my life I gave up to do that. We don't have... Yeah, almost. Thank you. Thanks for reminding me. I am not coming to your birthday party.
No, it was 380,000.
Yeah, about 380 and growing.
Notice how we remember that, Jenny.
Yeah, that was then. Yes, I would say try to do it as smartly as possible, and just be cautious, But if it's something that you are passionate about, and it's keeping you up at night, as this was me, and that you really truly believe in it, you gotta just go for it, because that's how our country was built. You have to go for it, and we're allowed that opportunity. So just try to take advantage of that.
How do you handle the disappointments, and how do you handle the setbacks? How do you handle those days when you just are tired, or you have something that you've been working on for a while and it just falls through at the last minute? How do you handle all of that? How do you get through that?
It's a really good question. We that happens a lot. People have said, have you ever wanted to throw in the towel? I'm like, every 5 minutes I'm throwing in some kind of towel, but I reel it back in. You're always like, is it worth it? But here's how Rick and I were talking about this the other day. He actually said, it's like we're swimming to the English Channel and we're halfway there. Are we going to swim halfway back? It's the same amount. Or are you going to just keep going? Yeah. So we have made it so we're choiceless now. We have to keep going. And we're excited about that. And you just keep going. I
remember that movie, one of my favorite movies of all time, Apollo 13, when they're in the room and what's his name says, failure is not an option, gentlemen. Failure is not an option. And I remember that because since I started this book project back in November, all sorts of things have just tried to get in the way to stop it. Yeah. And so many things have happened. But I have to remind myself that there's no turning back.
Right, you're halfway there. You're almost there.
There's no turning back,
Yeah.
and I just got to keep going and got to keep going because
Yep.
I think one of the things that really stops entrepreneurs or people who have a really great idea is discouragement.
Mm-hmm.
You get to a point where you're looking around and you're thinking, wow, I don't think I could do this anymore.
Right.
But somehow you have to just dig deep down inside. I always like, when I get to that point, Mario, I go upstairs, take a nap, sleep it off, get up.
Refresh.
It's almost,
Right.
it's almost
Right.
It's like rebooting.
Right.
it's almost like a hangover
Yeah.
that you
Right.
have from discouragement, and I know that's not my right mind talking to me. That's
Right.
that's being tired.
Right. You know, I used to sell book cover advertising. I've always been in sales, and when I was young, I used to sell to. I had a 350-mile radius from my home where I lived with my dad, and I drove a car every day, hundreds of miles, and I'd go to funeral homes and small markets, and I would sell book cover advertising. It was a tough sell, and it taught me life. It taught me everything. And I remember once I called the boss who was in New Jersey, and I was like, I can't do this. And I was like one ad away from completing my week's worth of book cover sales. And he said, you know, depression is a luxury you can't afford.
Yeah.
And that was the same thing. It was like, oh, right. Yeah, I'm being a big baby. You got to keep going, and you work through it, and then you make it.
Any last things you'd like to say?
Full time, overtime, all the time is the slogan. But everybody, take a look at the wonderful website, www.greengarmento.com. You got to take a look at the site because what I love about it, it has everything. So you can purchase right there. You can look, you can shop, you can get information, and you can buy right there. Take a look, and it's a wonderful site. I have to commend you. Jenny, so who did the choice? I mean, you're one of those do everything. I suspicious.
I did have a vision on this one. I did. I got to be honest. The model is somebody that I know.
See, I
had
knew it was something like that.
I had a different model before that we had for the first few years. It was a totally different vibe.
Okay.
And then I saw this girl, and I'm like, and she's a pinup model. She's an LA pinup model, so she does these vintage shoots. And I was like, I want to do this back to basics. Where were we before plastic? We were fabulous.
Right.
Our clothes were awesome. We were pressed and cleaned and lovely. Why can't we go back to that before there was all this, single-use stuff? So we decided to do sort of like this retro vibe with this gorgeous redhead who I adore. And
Well, it works.
Yeah,
You got
thank
my
you.
attention.
Thank you.
One last question, and
Yes.
then we'll conclude here. Is
Yes.
if you could go back and do something different that you did on Shark Tank or that whole process, and give advice to someone who's thinking about going on that show, what would it be?
I'm going to go back to know thy numbers. I think I really made a big mistake thinking the product would talk for itself, and it didn't. Even though it's, I think, gorgeous and wonderful, and I'm passionate about it, I didn't know the business part of it as much as I should have. And I was in the room with, 5, not only are they incredibly successful people, but they're incredibly smart people, and I was outsmarted and outwitted. And you want to make sure that doesn't happen to you.
Okay. Very well said. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the New Media Radio Hour here at Pack Stereo TV with my wonderful co-host, Mario Hemsley. Anything last things you'd like to say, Mario?
I just want to remind everybody again, go to the website. It's a wonderful story. It's a wonderful product. I see a future in it, and actually you got me thinking about even the grocery markets and those bags that we're now purchasing, right, to get rid of the
Right.
plastics at the grocery store. It's a time, it's a consciousness that's occurring right now.
Thank you.
Behind this product.
Yeah,
so.
it's up to people to be the change. So.
And also watch for my book, ladies and gentlemen. It's coming out at the end of next month, Conversations with Shark Tank Winners, how the Shark Tank effect dramatically increased sales, exposure, and more for these successful entrepreneurs. This is Ray Ibarra here at Pack Stereo TV. Thanks a lot, everybody.